Okay, hello and welcome to the second cycle for Density Monthlies. This is going to be the stream for the previous tournament. So just to briefly go through the format, it was a typical tournament, so played all, unlike New Moon or Need for Link, played it all on one sitting, and it was a round robin tournament with open setups, so everyone had access to see what everyone else's build is before the tournament started. So joining me in commentary is also Symes.
Yeah, hi. So for this tournament, we actually had a poll to determine what the format would be, and a regular Battle Network 6-1. So this is just a standard BN6 format.
Alright, so heading into the first match is going to be Shadow versus Sleepclaws.
Yeah, so Shadow's running a very interesting folder. He's got the humor glitch, and he seems to be running a bunch of roll chips because the way roll works in this game is her heal also is affected by boosts. So when he uses roll with a humor proc, she'll heal twice as much as well as doing twice as much damage.
Yeah, and interestingly, he also has 5 Buster Ups, which is his reg and 2 tags. Um, so he's going for Buster Bug build with attack max, but also has the Emotion Bug and the roll to use that for recovery as well. So it's a very interesting build. I don't think I've seen anything before similar to this.
Yeah, it's a very unique build. And on the other side, we have a Sleep Clause, who seems to be running B code and also with a sensor combo.
Yeah, so it looks like most of his damage he wants to get in through the pretty powerful B chips, the SP Navis or his Giga, but then he also has the Sensor 3 and a few other chips that could allow it to work, like the Flash Bombs and Windrax and the Mac Coil. So we'll see if he manages to get in. It could be a lot of damage if he gets a good combo with the Sensor Slide, but even not, even if he gets few hits with that, that could still be big. Um,
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot of damage against Shadow's recoveries, so we'll see which wins out.
yeah, alright, let's head into the match. Ooh, okay. Ooh, so Shadow starting with the machine gun, able to. Oh, there's no scope. So Shadow starting with the machine gun to decross, slip cross quite big, especially from turn 1. Sleep Close wants to go for dust digging to try to go through his folder and find his chip combos. So being decrossed can be huge for Shadow, and Shadow doesn't really need to cross at all. So he can just maintain base man and use the humor bug he gets from that.
Yeah, having a shield is pretty big for Shadow in this matchup too, since Sleep Plus uses the flash bombs. The shield is very good at blocking those.
Yeah, so Shadow wants to stay in base man for the emotion bug. So taking shield is just like an extra plus. So why not? Okay, see if he gets the 2x. Ooh. So this wasn't really the ideal TFC for Shadow. He would have wanted to wait um, to have Grandman SP reach the back row to gain the 3 hits. Okay, nice. Almost avoiding all of the machine gun hits. Yeah, so what we saw there was Shadow trying to go for the Buster Bug. Do you want to explain how that works, Symes?
Yeah, so the way the Buster bug works is depending on what level it is. You have, if it's level 1, you have a 1 in 16 chance of getting a charge shot damage. And with a level 3 bug, it's a 3 out of 16 chance. But without using bug fix, it can also misfire and you won't get any shots at all. And that seems to be what Shadow's getting now. Oh, and he manages to TFC the base anomaly with the invis. That's big.
Nice,
And
gets
the times
2x.
2 static.
Looks like Shdaow has defensive folder. So the start for Shadow's folder is going to be slower because he still has the 5 buster ups that he needs to go through. But after he gets the buster ups and bug fakes, then the damage really starts to get going. Slipclaw's using the invis. Oh, nice. And the invis from Shdaow to protect his anti-damage at the very last moment. Double flash bomb, okay. We'll see if Shdaow is able to shield both of them. I'm not sure if he actually can, if the cooldown for shield is short enough for him to shield both.
I think it depends on the timing on them, but I think with the double flash bomb you can get at least one of them to hit.
And Shdaow still has the anti-damage up as way to protect. Okay. Ooh, nice. So what happened there was the back B that Slipclaws used was during... Oh wow, half of the sensor slide. Nice. Okay, so a lot happened there. So Shdaow used his life aura while he was in animation for the anti-damage, and the back B, because he was still mid-animation, the back B didn't remove it, and that protected him from the second flash bomb. And then Slipclaws used the Magnum, the sensor slide, to gain a lot of damage in that one turn.
Yeah, but Shdaow has anger from that sensor, I think, stunning him for so long. So now he can use a ×2 roll here.
Yeah, and he's still ahead on HP and has a lot of recovery potential in his folder. So it's still looking good for Shdaow. Ooh. Okay, using the roll on the invis. See if he gets... No, he missed the time to protect. Rockman to roll. I think that will be game. Okay,
Yeah, so Shdaow takes the first round with his chonk folder. He survived the sensor slide.
Yeah, so I think with if he didn't run the recover 300 and the roll, I think that would have been game for Slipclaws. The recovery pushed him over the edge and allowed him to win that game. Okay, so starting with the buster up again as a strike.
Yeah, we'll see if this round of Slipclaws can maintain his Dust Cross past the first turn.
Yeah, and even last game, so if Slipclaws was able to get in the back B for a sensor slide, that would have been game for Slipclaws. That would have been enough damage. Ooh, looks like
Shdaow gets the invulnerability.
And Shdaow was expecting Slipclaws to go into dust again. That's why he started with the wind drag to remove the first barrier into machine gun. like he will throw away the chips he has in hand to go for more defensive turn with the bug fix. I think bug fix is so it's interesting the use of bug fix in his folder. What do you think about having to balance that with keeping the emotion bug and buster bug?
Yeah, it's very interesting. Obviously, he doesn't seem to have warp bug either. The buster bug is very useful for yeah, you need bug fix to use buster bug very well, but obviously losing the potential ×2 damage from the humor bug and the ×2 recovery on the roll isn't ideal either. So it's very interesting having to balance between it like that.
Yeah, so what he might be going for is trying to go for the early game with emotion bug to try to keep him alive until he gets the bug fix and all of the buster ups to try to finish it off with his buster bug. Nice, and he gets the decross on Tomahawk. The last one almost, that was close for the 2x, then flash moment turn. Shdaow is ending the turn on anger, but doesn't look like he's going to try to get advantage out of that. So he's starting with a more defensive start.
Yeah, and he's actually giving it up completely by going into Tomahawk Cross here.
That's interesting. So probably he considered the bug fix that he has in hand and thought that there is no reason to stay as baseman. Although in baseman you can get the shield, which could have helped him face the flashback, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think he wanted to go Tomahawk Cross to deal with the. He was probably worried that Sleep Plus was gonna go for the censor play.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So I see in chat someone's asking what naturally causes the anger emotion. So there are two conditions. One is so for both you need to stay as base Mega Man, and you need for the first one to take 300 damage in one hit, and the other one is to be paralyzed for I think it's 180 frames.
It's 150, I think.
50, okay. And
so 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, that will give you. And yeah, in chat, Sleep Close also explained it. Okay, so for this game, it looks like Sleep Close is pulling ahead quite a bit. So he's 1k HP ahead over Shdaow. But don't forget that Shdaow still has a lot of burst damage potential. Buster Bug can do a lot of damage very quickly if you get lucky with the Buster procs.
And he also still has a lot of recoveries to get his own HP back up, so this round is not over yet.
Yeah.
Ooh, and he gets the base and lane.
Interesting. So that finishes the game. Oh wow. Nice. So Sleep Close just mashed it at the start of turn, which isn't usually something you see that often, because normally you want to try to confirm important chips like the Giga, so you'd want to wait for your opponent to at least use defense so you can TFC that, to force them to at least waste one chip. But it looks like Sleep Close went for the chip for the Giga straight away, hoping that Shdaow didn't have any defense, which paid out in the end.
Yeah, it looks like Shdaow is giving up the humor bug immediately. He's going for a dust cross to suck up those boulders, and he already drew him 4 buster ups on the first turn, so he's already gonna be up to attack 9.
Yeah, so this is a very interesting start. So what he probably wants now is to look very quickly for the bug fix. because he has most of his buster ups and he already crossed, so unless he gets decrossed, he won't be getting advantage from the emotion bug. So he's stuck in animation for the machine gun at the end of turn, and the flashbomb is on the field. So we'll see what he will decide to do. So he can either cross cancel to finish his animation, or stay as Dustman and hope Sleep Plus doesn't have much. Ooh, okay, interesting stuff. Oh, okay. So the reason why I said it was an interesting start, because if Sleep Close uses something that causes flashing, then Shadow TFCing the invis to that will be pierced straight away by the flash bomb, allowing Shadow to combo straight afterwards. But then the full cast actually might have helped Shadow by allowing him to now cross cancel and go into Tomahawk, which will protect him from the paralysis.
Yeah, it was definitely a very interesting sequence there. But I guess we'll see what a Sleep Clause has this turn, especially with the B code on this grass field. We can do a lot of damage to Tomahawk Cross.
Yeah, so Shadow has the invis and probably will wait to TFC that into Blastman or Elementman. But if Shadow has his fire hit, then he can get in 520 damage, I think, in just one chip, which can be very big. SP, the TFC, ooh, okay. But then pierce straight away into the Blastman SP, yeah, so the scenario did play out in the end. And Shadow took 750 damage from the Blastman.
Yeah, but now he has his humor bug back. He has roll 3 with an attack plus 30.
Ooh, that could be big if he managed to get the emotion bug proc with that. And yeah, looks like he's going to go for that. How much is so 60 plus 30 is 90 times 3 and then times 2 again?
Times 2, that's 540.
So that could very easily bring Shadow's HP back to be almost the same as Sleep Close.
Yeah, that boosted roll is very powerful. That could actually even this game right back up, even after the last times 3 Blast Man.
Yeah, I really like using roll with the emotion bug builds, because often it's like getting almost 2 recovery 300s, but you're also dealing that as damage.
Yeah, the one thing that'd be very funny with that is if it got taken by anti-Navi.
Ooh. Oh yeah, that would be very rough. Nice, so
Shadow's also now. Oh wow, it gets taken by beat. That's very unfortunate.
Yeah, it's quite a big mistake. Although that did save Shadow from taking more damage in the end. So this tournament had the setups open, so Shadow should have known that Sleep Clause had speed in the folder. But then he probably either forgot that he still had it or didn't notice that. So it looks like Shadow's going for more defensive turn with the anti-damage. Ooh, or maybe not.
He's going for the double point with the roll 2. That will boost it even more, up to 100 times too.
Yeah. So this is what Shadow is trying to do. So he's still looking for his bug fix, but he also has all of the HP, and the recover right now to try to get him through until he gets that. But yeah, so it is interesting that Shadow's delaying taking the hub badge, because hub badge would give him the extra custom tools, which could give him access to bug fix earlier. Okay, so Sleep Close going for Tengu, so we might be seeing the sensor slide coming. Ooh, nice. So the position Shadow is camping now allows him to basically completely avoid sensor slide.
Yeah, that double point, giving Sleep Buzz the area, he can actually be pulled into the middle row now with the mag coil.
Ooh,
oh, but instead
nice. And then Shadow gets the 2x.
And this anti-damage will do 400 damage to Tengu Cross now if it hits.
Yeah, and if Sleep Close tries to get in with the charger, that will be a confirmed decross, so he really can't do that, so he just has to avoid the buster shots from Shadow. And yeah,
now he's going for the bug fix with the Recuv 300 and hub badge.
Yeah. So he's starting with the recover 300 just to make sure that Sleep Close doesn't have anything that could get him. It's interesting that he's debating not taking the invis because he doesn't have any defense that turn, so I'm not sure if it's a good idea to not take the invis at all. Okay, going turn. Starting with the recovery into bug fix. Now Shadow's trying to get in with buster shots. Nice movement from Sleep Close, avoiding most of the buster shots. Ooh, and the invis. So if Sleep Close didn't use the invis there, what Shadow could have done is proc the anti-damage from Sleep Close and traded his anti-damage for it, which would have been a confirmed decross for 400 damage because he had the 2x on his anti-damage. So that could have been an option.
Yeah, and it looks like a Sleep Claws set up the going road for the sensor combo, but Shadow has a invis and anti-damage up, so...
Yeah, so... and the Sleep Claws already used the Erase Man, I believe, so he can't really pierce through both of them. Oh, nice. So this judgment is very big for Shadow. That allowed him to both destroy the fan and remove the anti-damage. Avoiding the high boomer as well. So what Sleep Close was hoping for with the going road is to push the opponent into the range of the high boomers, but because Shadow has the hub badge, which gives him float shoes, so he's not really affected by the going road, so he can just avoid the boomers easily.
Yeah, and he has his attack 10 set up now with the fixed buster bug, so he can just fire away those P shots and drain all of Sleep Claws' HP.
Nice, getting the shield. Ooh, so he steps back. Probably will go for Elect to try to destroy sensor, yeah. Ooh, that was close. So that was very well played from sleep close, although it was a bit risky. But because Shdaow was still mid-animation for the movement, that delayed the anti-damage activation very slightly to give sleep close few frames to allow him to avoid the anti-damage star and avoid being decrossed. If he got decrossed, that could have been game.
Yeah, but we'll see what he has left. I think his both his B code and his P navies are gone. This ground man is gonna drop him down to just 1 HP.
And Shdaow has the wind drag for the life or all, but that was game. Nice. That was very close game from both sides. So very well played.
Yeah, Shadow's folder is very chonky for BN6 with those recovs and those boosted rolls, so it's actually very hard for to take down.
Yeah, exactly. And so I see in chat someone's asking if roll fails if you are at the same column as the opponent. And I believe it does fail. I don't think roll goes behind you. So some of the or most of the Navi chips they can only attack forward of you. So if the enemy is camping behind you, you can't really hit them with a lot of attacks.
Yeah, I'm not sure if roll works in that case or not.
Okay, I guess we'll see if we see that with Shdaow because we have more matches like the next one, which is playerzero versus Shdaow.
Yeah, so I see a playerzero has a 3 gigachips.
Yeah, so this is an interesting folder to create and to play. Um, so what I did there in my Navicast, I had the 2 giga plus Navicast pieces, which allows me to add 2 gigas into the folder, and I decided to go for Meteor Knuckles, Habbatch, and Bug the Thunder. So combine that with G code for the uninstall and just for the decross ability. I think this folder has a lot of good potential, but because of the 2 giga plus, I wasn't able to fit in any custom plus parts. So I'm stuck with custom 5 until I get Hub Badge, and I really need to look for my damaging chips. I have a lot of different codes, a lot of splash chips. So it can be very RNG heavy with the order I get my chips in.
Yeah, I guess it would depend a lot on keeping a dust cross.
And so against me is Shdaow. We've already seen how Shdaow plays. Um, yeah, but yeah, do you have anything else to add before we head right into it?
Yeah, you both have the Recov 300s, but
Mm,
be interesting to see if the 3 gigachips will be enough to take down all that recovery Shdaow has.
yeah. All right, let's head right into it. Okay. So starting with the grass field, and I have the full cast right. So my game plan now is probably want to go into dust straight away and then go into full cast to just try to go through my folder as quickly as possible. So by looking at his folder, I know he doesn't have rush, so I don't really want to or need to throw away my first invis. I can just keep that if I want to use later or take into the first turn. So someone's asking chat, how do Kaizo work in both this game and Star Force 3? I'm not sure what you are referencing in Kaizo, so if you can elaborate on that, that would be great. Okay, so I'm at this point I'm holding my full cost because I knew he didn't have many ways of decrossing me, so it felt safe for me to keep my full cast into next turn to try to gain as much advantage from dust as possible.
Yeah, and he used a plus 30 static. If he got a ×2 proc with that, that could have done a lot of damage.
Yeah, so I already did 400 HP, but if it was with the 2x proc, that would have been most of my HP already in the first turn.
And still no hub batch or anything, but
So I still have the full cast, which I'm just smashing straight away. So I'm debating which chips I should throw away. Well, it's not really throwing away. It's basically I choose the chip order and then put them at the back of my folder from Dustcross, which makes it very good if you're trying to look for specific things like hub batch in this case.
yeah, and Shadow doesn't have any uninstall or anything you'd have to worry about a holding hub for.
Okay, so just going with the Bubble Star. Ooh.
Oh, and Shadow manages to step past it and get the Ground Man. I think he was trying to use the Ground Man with a ×2 proc,
Yeah.
but he didn't get any that turn.
Yeah, so Emotion Bug can be very RNG heavy. Oh, nice! So it gets the Judge Man at the end of turn for the paralysis for free. Although now I have the option of cross cancelling if I want to throw away my Dust Cross.
Yeah, and there's that hub batch to get up to cost 8.
And Hub Batch also gives me attack 5 and charge 5, so that will allow me to try to pressure Shadow with my charge shots, which is one of the reasons why I have a lot of area grabs in the folder, just to try to give me as many win conditions as possible. Ooh, and the TFC.
Immediately losing Tomahawk to that Element Man, that was unfortunate.
And now Shadow has a huge HP lead on me, and it's going to be quite rough to try to come back from that. And so I'm trying to proc his anti-damage.
Oh, and there it goes. Oh, and he gets a ×2 roll.
Which puts me down at 1 HP and recovers him all the way, and the bug fix as well, so if he gets in with one buster shot, that will be the game.
Yeah, and you don't have your recovs in hand, that's unfortunate, but at least maybe Life Orb could let you survive.
Yeah, and he just used the bug fix as well, so if he stays as baseman, he doesn't have the chance to get in the emotion bug for 2x to remove it easily. And he already used the static at the start of game, so if he gets the Windrak or decides to cross, that will be game straight away. Try to go for the area grab to hopefully bait him to TFC something. Use the invis. But he also has the full area, so I won't even be able to get in with my charge shot, so I'll just have to hope at this point that he doesn't have anything that can remove my life bar.
Yeah, it looks like he doesn't, so he's just gonna try and dodge those buster shots and get to the cost.
Okay, so I do get one of my recoveries now. The other one I had at the start of the game, but I put at the back of my folder with Dustic, so I still have a few turns before getting it. And I have a lot of different codes in my hand, so I can't really cycle through my folder very quickly. Okay, so starting with the Neo Versel, the Beast out. So with Beast Jump, you can try to input a command and Beast will aim it for you.
Ooh, and gets the...
Nice, so the decross with the 2x damage, that was a lot of damage being done, but then the invis lasting long enough for that turn to finish off. So that was quite a big misplay on my part. So what happened there is after getting the Neo Vari 2x, that put him in the HP range for Meteor Knuckles if I managed to get in with the 3 area, or if I managed to lock him in with the Eraseman as well. But the problem is that ITFC'd the Eraseman into his invis, which means the invis applies after the Eraseman paralysis. So he still keeps his invis, and I won't be able to use Knuckles to gain that damage, which sealed the game there.
Yeah, maybe if you had used the Erase Man before the Neo variable, and decrossed his Tengu before he could remove the aura, you could have survived.
Yeah. So at that point I was hoping to get in before he can back B.
And the double life sword to clear the aura and do a bunch of damage.
And luckily I avoided getting decrossed by the machine gun as well. The first barrier protected me from the decross. Okay, so this turn decided to go into Tengu with the area grab. So because I have the plus area, I can try to go in with the Tengu charge shot to give in a lot of pressure. And I have the charge max. So even though I won't be able to deal in the max damage, charge max is going to interrupt him. But he used the invis, which will last him almost the whole turn.
Ooh, but the ×2 ground man, that's gonna be enough to break the life aura.
And still deal a lot of damage. I do have the full area now, but Shadow ended the turn on invis, and I didn't draw anything that can pierce the invis.
Yeah, you'll have to hope he doesn't have a way of reclaiming his area, and then you could hit him with the hopefully max hits from the Meteor Knuckle.
So one thing with regaining the area is that your opponent has to leave the area before you can get it back, which is why I saw that the panel behind me is broken, so even if he tries to use Grab Banish on me, I won't be pushed back. But what this also ended up doing is I was locked in with his charge shots from Tomahawk SP, so I took in a lot of damage there. Okay, the invis, and ooh, the full area knuckle, so that's 800 damage. And now he's locked in area as well.
Yeah, and he's using a cross, so he doesn't have access to the emotion bug right now either.
But my HP is still low enough. If he gets in roll 2x or with added bonuses at damage, then he can still win that game, or at least get a lot of recovery to finish off. Okay, so he goes into Tengu so he can move more freely, and the grab banish stuff then. So now he gains all the area back. Ooh! And for the quick action to finish the game off.
Yeah, was that a counter hit with the wind rack?
Yeah, so we both used the wind rack at the same time, but because I had the beast jump animation that gave time for his wind rack to be activated first, which counter hit me and interrupted my attack into his static, which finished the game off.
Wow, what a big finish from Shdaow. Yeah, even with the max Meteor Knuckle hits, that wasn't quite enough.
Yeah, and if I used the wind rack slightly earlier or slightly later, then I would have either gotten the decross on him, the counter on him, or interrupted his attack with the static and would have been able to survive. So it was just the exact timing that we both used the attack that was unfortunate, which ended up for his victory.
Yeah, but well played to both players there. That was a good game.
Yeah, it was fun. Okay,
And
so hit.
yep, for the next match we've got a Thiago against Sleep Claws.
Okay, so this is the first time we see Thiago play so far, and so the folder he's running is a pretty normal Gregar folder with colonel force and B code splash navies.
Yeah, it's a very strong folder. I think we've seen, especially against Falsar, all those B navies and
Mm,
machine guns are strong against the Falsar crosses. He's also got a Recov 300 splash, so
yeah.
he'll be harder to take down himself. And he has the two get-ins to lock them
Mm,
in place for his charge shots or the machine gun.
yeah, and Sleep Close doesn't have the hub badge, so if he gets Geddon, then he could be trapped during the turn. He needs to be in Tengu or in Beast Out to allow him to avoid being trapped with Geddon.
Right, so we'll see how this will play out, but he does have the B code fire combos
Mm,
and also the sensor, so we'll see if he can manage to pull that off against Thiago here.
Alright. And Thiago also has Rush, so there's another factor to help him maximize the damage for Colonel Force. Okay, so they are starting on the grass panels again, which is actually better for Sleep Pros because the fire chips that he has. Ooh, Sleep Pros goes straight for the beast into the Blastman SP. Oh well, forcing Thiago to TFC out of slow gauge.
And the B takes his element man, so he won't get the freeze on Sleep Claws there. And Sleep Claws setting up more grass with the element man into Proto Man.
So we know his B code from the Blastman SP, so he could have the fire hit. Or he could have it in hand, so he could have set up the element man to try to set up for it.
And Thiago appears to be going for the Erase Beast.
So he's going to try to chip charge his Geddon because he saw that Sleep Claws already went into Beast Out, which gives him air shoes.
Yeah, the Geddon still could have been useful for removing those grass panels though, so he couldn't get hit by a ×2 firehead.
Ooh, and looks like Sleep Claws setting up for the sensor slide. We'll see if he managed to land that. Mackerel, Windrak for the Deeper as well. Nice. So he got in one hit with the sensor, but that allowed him to confirm the Windrak.
Yeah, so Thiago lost his Erased Beast.
I'm not sure why Sleep Claws didn't go into Tengu the previous turn. It might have been a misclick, or I don't know if he has, because if he did go into Tengu that turn, he would have been able to combo into a lot more damage with the sensor slide.
Yeah, it is very hard to get the Tengu B plus left and Beast out though. I think you have to be frame perfect.
Yeah, that's right.
And also, if he did that, he would have had no more ways to get air shoes. So then he wouldn't have been able to do anything against Thiago's get-ins.
That's a good point.
Thiago appears to be looking to take advantage of this grass field though by going into Heat Beast, but
Ooh, nice.
Sleep Plus going into Spout Beast.
Ooh, almost gets in with. Nice, so that was very well played from Sleep Claws. A lot of stuff happened there. So Sleep Closed used the machine gun while Thiago was stuck in animation for the Heat Beast, and also through the Flash Bomb, which allows him to confirm paralysis into Thiago now. So the best way to avoid machine guns is to try to stay in the middle and move forward and back, because that gives you enough time to avoid the hits. But because Sleep Closed threw the Flash Bomb behind Thiago, he wasn't able to step back though, so at best he would have still been hit.
Ooh, nice. Is this base anomaly gonna hit? Yes, it will, and destroy the fanfare.
So that was unfortunate TFC order from Thiago, because if he used the fanfare first, then he would have been able to TFC the Geddon, which would have removed the hits from base. Ooh, but now so Sleep Closed missed the Raceman, but he managed to get in with a full cast straight away, which ended Thiago's Beast turn, which can be very big now. Thiago's going to be forced to throw away the chips he had.
Yeah, but it looks like now he's going for Slash Cross with a Life Ore, which is always a very scary combo.
Yeah, if Sleep Closed doesn't have any wave, so probably Thiago is expecting Sleep Closed to go into Tengu, yeah. So he wants to get in the D-Cross on that for free.
He uses a Grab Banish, so Thiago's forced to use the Slash Cross, or the Life Ore, so he used the area grab.
But now Thiago doesn't have the full confirmed area, so Sleep Closed is still able to avoid the charge shots. And Sleep Closed had a very defensive turn that turn anyway, so he was able to avoid the attacks from Thiago. And now Thiago has the potential for Colonel Force Beast over, I mean.
Yeah, but it looks like he got his second Slug Edge, so it looks like he's going for, oh, interesting, he's going for the Colonel Force just with the Slash Cross.
So he's probably hoping to get that Raceman, because with Beast over, the AI uses chips randomly, so you basically can't depend on any chip that requires aiming. So he wants to gain the area plus for max area, get an Raceman to remove the defense, Colonel Force, and then a charge shot to end it off, and hope that is enough to give him the game. We'll see if Sleep Closed has any more invis, because one invis could protect him.
Oh, and he manages to...
Ooh, this is actually pretty bad for Sleep Closed, because now although he gets his area back from Judgment, because the fan is still there, he isn't able to regain the area.
Yeah, that's the main reason why I don't like using wind boxes with Judgment like that, because it blocks you from getting your area back. And so he still takes the max amount of hits from Colonel Force and is left with just 1 HP.
Ooh, and he decides to not Beast over as well at 1 HP. See if Thiago is able to finish it off. Ooh, Sleep Closed avoiding very well. Then the buster shot. Yeah, it's very difficult to try to avoid the opponent's attack at 1 HP. Just one buster shot is the game, so you can step into it accidentally or even not have enough time to avoid it. I guess Sleep Closed didn't want to go for Beast over, because that wasn't really an out for him to win either. So he wanted to keep his option to cross. But,
yeah, I don't think he had any chips that he could have used with the Beast over to win.
and looks like Thiago's just mashing his chips, expecting Sleep Closed to go for full cast. But with the Gather now, Thiago is able to get in with, I think it's 3 charge shots in total, so that's 180 damage. But nice! So Sleep Closed also getting back on Thiago and dealing a lot of damage that one time.
Yeah, since the erase cross charge leaves you locked into that one panel, he took the max hits from that machine gun as well, and then the blast man and proto man. So Sleep Claws did almost 1,000 damage to him that turn.
Yeah. So Thiago, thinking that Sleep Claws will use the full cast straight away, really hurt him by throwing his defense early. Because if he still had the anti-damage and invis, he would have been able to protect himself from both the Blast Man and the Proto Man. Could have saved him 500 damage, more than 500 damage.
And now Sleep Claws is going into the Dust Cross. Ooh, that rush is gonna leave him stunned.
He might have ordered the chips wrong, because normally what you want to do as Dust is use the full cast first. Yeah, so what he probably would have wanted is to use full cast first and then mash for rush, but that gives the opponent the option to, if they really notice it quickly, they can finish the turn before you get out your invis for rush, so that can force you to waste 2 of your invises.
Yeah, and Thiago also threw away his Proto Man SP to beat there, which I'm not sure if that's what he wanted.
I think he could have had enough time to chip charge it and try to get in the D-cross with that. I'm not sure on the frames though.
Well, it's a sword.
So is it sword primary? Yeah. Okay, so Thiago still has 2 more turns of beast, so that is still a lot of potential damage he can get in with beast charges. They're going with the wind box. Nice.
Oh, and the 2 hits from the... That's gonna be it.
That's game.
Yeah, the 2 hits from the ×2 boomer, I think, was 500 damage with the Tomahawk charge.
Okay. So now again Thiago's deciding to start with the erase cross. We'll see, and he gets the Geddon again. We'll see what Sleep Claws decides to do for the first game. Okay, so he goes into Beast Out. So that will help protect him and nullify the effect from the Geddon. Ooh, nice.
TFC's the Geddon with the Proto Man.
And now Blastman SP has then Navichip has air shoe, so he can use them on top of holes if he has that. Ooh, but walking into the hit twice.
And that Judgment will not reclaim the area with the holes.
Ooh, counter it.
Yes.
I'm not sure actually, can you counter hit the opponent with the base beast jump? I don't know. I imagine you can, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it looks like he just did with the wind crack.
No, I mean the other way around, so if beast out chip charge can counter the opponent. Because I think...
Can the cross beast charges do it?
I feel like they should be able to, but I'm still not sure.
Oh, and that grab banner is just gonna reclaim all his area.
I mean, even the area grab, I'm not sure if Thiago really wanted to get that area grab, because it was a null chip, so he could have tried to beast charge it for 400 damage, and now Sleep Claws going for the full cast straight away. We'll see if Thiago takes in the next chips, or yeah, so he decides to keep his same hand. So as Dust beast out, Sleep Claws has an option to try to go in for chip charging on his own, because the Dust chip charge gives you an vulnerability frames where you can't be hit by anything. So if you manage to get that for the erase chip charge, then you can avoid getting decrossed, which can be very big.
Yeah, I think Thiago has an Erase Man chip left over, but he can't use it on those broken panels. But I think they might be fixed soon.
Yeah. But also, so one thing to mention for the DOS chip charge is that the erase one is faster. So if Thiago waits a bit, he should be able to react to sleep close using it. Okay, we'll see if he lands the erase man. Ooh, beat!
Oh, he puts down the sensor.
No. Thiago still has 2 anti-damages, so that would protect him. And yeah, that protects him from being hit from the sensor, but he still got hit decrossed by the wind raft, which is still 280 damage, which is big. And now sleep close the hit on HP. Okay, so Thiago going for defensive turn, but he again. So this is one of the really strong things about Beast, Out, and Gregor, is that you can take a very defensive turn, but you also can chip charge these chips, so it can be also offensive if the opponent doesn't have anything.
Yeah, especially with Elect Beast charge with that paralysis and cracking all the panels.
Ooh. But sleep close goes for Tengu, so the Kraken panels won't affect him. And now they both use Invis. Okay, so what Thiago was doing there, he used his chip charge. Although he couldn't deal damage with it, he broke the sensor panel, the going road, so he can't be pushed into high boomer and get decrossed. Nice.
Oh, Sleep Claws gets the reflector
to counter it. So the wind up for like I think is the slowest out of all the beast charges. So that gave Sleep Claws enough time to react to and get the free 200 damage and counter. So that was very big. That was basically 400 damage plus for Sleep Close, because he both dealt damage and stopped Thiago from dealing damage.
Yeah, that was a big swing. Now it looks like Thiago's just going for the charge cross.
Okay, so the Judgment won't paralyze. Ooh, that was a mistake on the get-in from Thiago. Because, so the way this works is that if you go on, if you don't have air shoes but you're still on a broken panel somehow, like what we saw there by ending out from Beast Out, then you can still walk on the broken panels until you walk on a fixed panel, then you can't step back on the broken panels.
Yeah, and it looks like Sleep Claws is gonna get the Erase Man here.
And stop Thiago from being able to decross. We'll see if Thiago is able to land his charge shots. Nice. Sleep Claws doing a very good job of avoiding it.
And it looks like he's thinking about going slash cross instead with the area.
So I think we've already seen the 2 grab banishes from Sleep Close. And Thiago...
And the Judge Man,
yeah.
so...
Thiago has access to the folder as well, so he can see that Sleep Close doesn't have anything, but it's just a matter if he's tracking to make sure or not. Okay, so it looks like it decides to stay in charge. Ooh. Avoiding getting decrossed. But he still has about 100 HP left, so he's still not in a very good position. Ah, nice. So what Thiago was trying to do there was to bait Sleep Pros into destroying the fanfare, and then trying to land the charge shot into that. But Sleep Pros managed to step through and avoid all of the charges for this turn. So very good movement from Sleep Pros.
Yeah, but it looks like now with the life aura, he's going for the slash cross.
The Sleep Pros going for Spout to try to get in charge shot damage, and the TFC chain protecting Thiago from losing that game.
Oh, and that element, man, the freeze is weird. You don't get the invis in this case, so he gets the free flash.
Yeah. So the order things happen is that the freeze, the way race Element Man freeze works is that it doesn't pierce invis. It removes the invis state. So the freeze attack itself applies flashing, but then after that the sequence goes that it removes the invis, so the opponent can't avoid by flashing. So by TFCing the Element Man by that TFC chain, the invis was still removed from the Element Man that Thiago used, even though it's
Yeah,
full invis and not flashing state.
yeah, but Thiago still managed to close it out in the end with the slash cross.
Yeah, so with the confirmed area, Sleepless didn't really have much he could do, and he didn't have any way from moving the life aura, so it was just a waiting game trying to get in and see if Thiago might miss it, but then Thiago finished it off there. It was a very
Yeah,
close
so
game.
up,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a very close game. It was well played by both players.
Okay, so heading into the next match, it's Symes vs Versel.
Yeah, so we've got a nice Gregor mirror here. We've got the machine swords in L code against what looks like T code from Versel with the tornado and air spin combos.
Yeah, so this is a very interesting matchup. Um, Versel has a lot of the features that you have in a normal Gregor folder, but he also has some variants, like for example using base as the Giga instead of Colonel Force, having Thunder, Lance, and Wind. So he does have few variations, which can make it very interesting. Um, so it looks like he's going with the Giga with the plus attack plus 30, because that's really where Bass as a Giga works very well. But he can also use that with the air spin if he needs, or the tornado as well, to gain a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's also interesting that he's not using Tengu Man SP, just Tomahawk Man SP.
Yeah, so he probably really wanted to get in the Groundman, just as splash chip, or maybe he didn't want to rely on the area from because so to avoid Tenguman SP, the opponent will camp their back row, but that is also a good position to avoid getting hit by the air spin. Because you can step into it or try to destroy it before it can start hitting. So it's interesting seeing Versal's decision to try to not run Tenguman SP.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like he also has a full cust regged, which is interesting for Gregor. You usually see that with Falser for Dust Cross.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to add before we get into the match?
I think that's about it. Let's get right into this
All
match.
right. Okay. So you have the machine gun. I mean the machine sword with the flash one now. So What was your thought process in using machine sword? You don't really see them often in base BN6.
Yeah, I just wanted to use it with the Electros null chip charge because that's a pretty fun combo. I don't think it's actually that worth it. Machine sword only does 200 damage.
Yeah.
Which isn't really that much for how finicky it can be to use. Compared to Assassin Sword, which is the easiest out of all of them to use and also does the most damage.
Interesting though. Okay, so it looks like Versel is going for slash cross, but Symes starting with the life aura, so if Versel doesn't have an answer to that, then it's going to be a full turn where he can't do any damage. The blast lance triggered the anti-damage. Ooh, getting hit by both charge shots and then setting up of the flash bomb. So does Versel have enough time to step back underneath the flash bomb? I'm not really sure on the frame movement for that.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but it looks like he might. But we'll also see if he. Oh, he's going for a beast out here.
Ah, nice. So you have the erase man anyway, so he doesn't get in to avoid that. And the machine sword, nice. Getting both of them. Ooh, and then Versel using a lot of the beast jumps to try to get in damage. Unfortunately, most of his attacks end up missing. Now you're going into the Colonel Force with the Electros. So what you want to do is use Elec to paralyze him and try to confirm. Ooh, nice.
Versel gets the thunder to the grass tornado and a tomahawk, man.
D-cross. Ooh, the judgments used a bit early, so the air grab will activate. But so now Versel is trapped. Ooh. And then Colonel Force with Windrak to finish the game off. Nice, that was very close. Versel almost managed to get in that game, but Colonel Force just doing Colonel Force things and giving that comeback, denying that comeback.
Yeah, that thunder into the grass tornado into the ×2 tomahawk, man, was pretty crazy from Versel.
Yeah, this might be the actual first time I see thunder being used in normal BN, so it being utilized well is very interesting and always nice to see. Okay, so both going into slash cross, but now Versel is ahead on the area. We'll see if that is going to stay the way it is.
Yeah, thankfully on the holy panel field, being stuck with rush isn't as bad.
Yeah, and now you have the grab banish into area grab, so now you took the minus and made a plus area for you. Ooh, nice. Oh wow, okay. So even though you have the plus area, Versel end up doing the more damage with the slash exchange and keeping his anti-damage. Ooh, so in your hand you have the 3 machine swords. Do you have enough time with the paralysis to chip charge all of them into each other, or is that too slow?
That's too slow, they can mash out, it only works with the flash bomb, unfortunately.
Shame. That could have been very nice to see, like, comboing 3 chips into each other.
Yeah, that would be a lot better if you could do that. But it needs the flash bomb for you to have time to charge some.
Ooh, Versel deciding to go for the Elec to force you to lose your Sanctuary panel. Now getting in with the Tomahawk, nice.
And he still has his holy panel, so he's only taking half damage on a lot of these.
Yeah, so the trade is actually better for Versel if you try to get in with your charge shots. Okay, now we're going with Elec.
Yes, this Elect Dragon should at least get rid of that holy panel.
and still do 200 damage, which is very good.
Yeah, being able to break a life aura with Elect Dragon and Electros is very strong.
Ooh, the judgment, so he still won't regain the area, which we've seen that happen in the previous match as well because of the wind box. Okay, but it does get destroyed by charge shots. Nice, using the flash bomb enabling both the machine swords to hit. There was a lot of damage in one turn. Now the HP is much closer.
Yeah, we'll see if Versel has some area to use with his. Oh, he's going into charge cross.
And getting in the bubble into full cast. Oh, nice. Interesting. So usually you don't really want to do that unless you want to force the opponent to cross or risk getting hit. Because now if Versal took in the chips to combo into that, then he could have had the combo for free. But now you can just cross cancel and avoid what he was planning.
Yeah, it is strange because using the full cast right after, I just got to cross cancel out of the. Oh, but he is base.
Nice. But so he forced you to TFC out of your life aura.
Yeah, it would have been better if I'd used those chips in the other order so I could have kept the life aura instead of the invis.
And now flash bomb into Elements Man decross. Nice. So that's 200 damage. And you'll probably be able to get in with the charge shot as well. Yeah. Ooh, and seeing the Colonel Force in hand, straight into Beast. So now you have a lot of options to be able to get in that game. Don't think Versal can have a lot of stuff that brings him back unless he beats you before you can get into your damage.
Yeah, although at that low HP, you don't even need the beast out for the Colonel Force.
I mean, the Beast out is still very good to try to pierce the invis, and yeah, so this will confirm the Colonel Force and it will be into game. Ooh. Why didn't he? Okay, so there's still game with the Windrak. That could have been very close if Versal was able to get in the max hits on the was it the Windbox? Was it called?
The Airspin?
Airspin, yeah. So that could have been a lot of damage.
Yeah, it looks like he does have white pills in his folder, so if he had a white pill attached to the Airspin, that could have been a lot of damage for sure.
And the decross, which would have stopped your attacks as well.
Yeah, but that was a good game. It was cool to see. I usually see T code used more with Falzer, so it was pretty interesting to see T code being used with Gregor like that.
Yeah, and getting the tornado with the thunder was really good to see. Well played to Versal as well.
Yeah, the Thunder with the Beast out might actually be a underused tech.
Yeah, I guess we'll see in the future if anyone decides to try to gain advantage from that. Okay, so going into the next match, it's playerzero versus Symes. Okay, so this is an interesting game. So my folder is very heavy on trying to keep dust, because if I'm stuck with custom 5 not being able to get in the hub batch, then I can get in very bad hands at the start, and be forced to either throw away chips to move quickly or just be stuck with one chip turns. And you have the L code, so you have access to the magnums. You can go into erase beast to get in the 400 damage, and you still have the the machine sword combo that we saw last game as well.
Yeah, the only issue with it is sometimes you can get the machine swords with no flash bombs or the flash
Mm.
bombs with no machine swords. So it's also very dependent on what chip sequence you get.
Yeah, which I guess that explains why you have the custom +2, which you don't really see that often in Gregor folders.
Yeah, needed a higher cost, so I'd have a higher chance of being able to get the combos off.
Um, so I think that's mostly it. You're also running uninstall, so the uninstall can be a big factor in Bug the Thunder that I have. Um, so if you're able to uninstall me while I have Bug the Thunder up, then you can very easily interrupt my charges, and I will be stuck with no ways of dealing damage. Um, Especially since my folder doesn't really have all that many ways of dealing with the typical counters for Bug the Thunder. Bug the Thunder was there mostly as a support chip. If I'm stuck without being able to deal a lot of damage, then it's still an engine that can try to finish the game with.
Yeah, you do at least have a bubble start
Mm,
3 to deal with the potential
with the
charge
charge.
cross, so we'll see if that comes into play at all.
Alright, let's head right into the game. Second. Okay. Ooh, so this is an interesting start. So it is always interesting to see the different possible fields, because normally in a normal start you don't really want to have the area grab because the opponent can't step forward and nullify your full area. But with this one, if you just mash for the area grab, your opponent doesn't have time to stop you from getting on +1 area.
Yeah, unless they have warp bug or something,
Mm.
but neither of us has that, so
Yeah, and you typically wouldn't want to step into the poison for no reason, just because the damage really does add up over time, and we both have low HP starting as well.
yeah, neither of us really has any strong fire chips to punish on the grass panels.
Okay, so just trying to walk to avoid the Magnum. Looks like you didn't cross, which is interesting. You don't really see Gregor not crossing in turn 1. Okay, so I get a very defensive hand, but thankfully, because I'm dust, I can just cycle that into the back of my folder and get a different hand to this turn. And now I still have the full cast, so we'll try to go straight into full cast to waste one of your turns. Ooh, but the Magnum, and that does connect with the D-Cross. So the better play for me could have been to go into to waste the full cast throw that way and go for Magnum. But that was still very good of you to expect me to have no defense and just go straight for the Magnum.
Yeah, it was since you didn't use the full cust on the first turn, I thought you were probably gonna mash it right away on the second turn.
Now go for Beast to avoid the poison panels because I have air shoes and poison doesn't take on that. Ooh. Okay, the Invis TFC'd into the Blast Man, but that's going to be pierced by the Flash Bomb. Oh, the Life Aura mash just in time. So
Yeah,
that
and that shuts down the machine sword.
it was very unfortunate on the timing in that. So even if I um, if you didn't have the Blast Man, I wouldn't have been able to mash fast enough through 2 chips, I don't think. But even if I did, or even if I didn't, then your Blast Man would have been TFC'd by the Life Aura, so that was very rough for you. Um, there wasn't really any way you could have confirmed the machine swords there.
Yeah, now that that anti-damage will prevent the Electros from being
And
removed by the Wood Dragon.
and the life aura, so the wood dragon is really not doing anything there. It's just about the movement trying to avoid. And the mashing of chips there at the end was a mistake because now I'm stuck in animation, so you know I will either cross cancel or be forced to eat any attacks that I might have.
Yeah, but drawing the hub batch here is big after losing Dust Crust, getting up to the Cuss State.
But I still don't have any way for moving the life aura, so I'll be stuck with you a full turn with that again. So that can be rough. Ooh, the bubble into a leg dragon, that's 600 damage. Into the other elect dragon as well. And now Beast Out runs out. So at this point I really don't have many options. I have to go into Tengu for a reliable way of removing your life aura. I could try to go for Neovari, but Neovari can be easily interrupted, or fuse a dimming chip. Then that also basically interrupts it by making the input very hard to complete. Ooh, okay. So it looks like I'm debating which one I should go for. And the nice thing about Neovar is that it's also on code with Meteor Knuckles, which can make it very good. But you also go into Slash expecting me to use to go into Tengu to remove your life aura. Okay, so the anti-damage is triggered and missing the Neovar, but the Meteor Knuckle doesn't TFC by Invis. Now the aerial grab. Okay, so you still don't have any way of confirming your Slash Cross.
Yeah, now you suddenly have both of those recovs.
Ooh, so the recovery that first turn I had, they came just in time back. If I had one more turn without them, then that could have been game. But now with the 600 recovery they give, the game is much closer than it was. But it is also the only J-code chips that I have, so if I take them I can't really go for Bug the Thunder or the uninstall, which can be very big if they do land.
Yeah, and with my area broken like that, I couldn't go for a Q Force or anything like that.
Ooh, Magnum and does connect, which breaks my area as well. Judge Man into Element Man. So we're both going to be stunned. But I think, is it the same paralysis time? Ooh.
No, I think a Judgment is 120 frames, and the freeze is 150.
50, so these few frames making all the difference with getting D-Cross. Okay, and now I'm running out of chips. So because I used Hub Batch, I should have custom 8. But now that I see I'm only at 6 custom, so I know that these are all the chips I have in hand. So I really don't have all that many options to deal damage. But you're still low on HP, so Bubble into Judge Man could be enough damage, or just trying to get in few hits with the Bug the Thunder could also be game. Although going for Bug the Thunder is pretty risky because the charge time is very long, and I think we're still on normal cost, so you go into Beast Out, so that could be Colonel Force coming. Okay, Bug the Thunder into Raceman, nice. So that will remove the anti-damage and still deal 120. The Colonel Force is barely in time reacting and using the Invis. Now almost at the same HP. Oh, we are in slow gauge. I thought it was still normal cost. Ooh, landing one of the beast charge hit. Nice movement, avoiding Bug Death Thunder. That could have been game. And now deciding if I should go into Beast Over. So the problem with Beast Over is that with Bug Death Thunder, it doesn't really charge the Bug Death Thunder. You just fire normal buster shots. So if this bubble and Bug Death Thunder is already on the field, aren't able to finish it, then that will give you the option to go into your own Beast Over, or just finish the game with any chip into next turn. So this is still very
Beast Over
close.
is very much a last resort, all or nothing type play.
Yeah, and because Beast Over, you can make it easier to avoid the attacks as well. Ooh, Element Man. So probably trying to look for a defense. The bubble lands into Bug the Thunder, and nice, that finishes the game off. That was very so this is another reason why going for Beast Over isn't really ideal normally, because the Beast Over went for normal Buster Shot, which freed you from your bubble status, but because you were probably stuck mashing trying to get out of the bubble, that ended up forcing you to step into the Bug the Thunder, and it was just unfortunate sequence. There was nothing much you could have done there.
Yeah, I was definitely trying to mash out of the bubble, and then suddenly the Beast Over popping it actually made it worse, because then I accidentally just stepped right into the way of it instead.
Yeah, and if your mashing sequence was at any other direction, you would have been able to survive that turn and probably win that game as well. Okay, so now
Yeah, who knows what could have happened, but it doesn't really matter. Oh, and TFC the Magnum with a invis.
the life are protecting from the flash bomb. Okay, so I'm keeping the Tengu Man to try to get in the D-Cross, because now I see your turn, so I'm expecting you to go into Beast Out for next turn, or at least that would be the normal play, for you to try to D-Cross me. So that is one thing I'm trying to consider while planning this turn. But this is also something you know, so I'm considering if you will stay without going into Beast Over to keep your Beast Out turns. To keep your Beast Out turns. Yeah, which is what you end up doing. And use your anti-damage as well into Windrak. So now I'm stuck in with Tengu. Okay, nice. So what you did there was you wanted to avoid getting hit while you're in your charge shot animation by my Windrak, because that will then give me enough time to avoid getting decrossed by your anti-damage. So that was nice play to be able to avoid that. Now I still go with the full cost into next turn. Oh, and you still didn't beast out, which is very interesting, but the full cost is still there.
Yeah, the Beast Out isn't quite as strong without having a slug edge to use with the Beast charges, so...
That's a very good point. And then the area grab trade. Ooh, the Magnum. But then this thing...
Tenguman's just gonna destroy the flash bomb. If I should have... I couldn't throw it in the back because I didn't have the area to do it.
So I think with the area that was confirmed, Tenguman destroying the flash bomb, right? I don't think there was any placement you could have had.
Yeah, I don't think so. Because even if I threw it on the bottom where it would have been out of the range of the second swoop, he would have just destroyed it with the first one.
Yeah. Okay, it looks like so I'm going for the Bug the Thunder. So I have the option of either going Bug the Thunder or for the new variant again. Still a lot of damage. But you go for Beast Out, so this could be Colonel Force coming. And I see the Q code with Grab Revenge, so I know you have Colonel Force on code, so that could be it. The area grab is also a bad sign for that. Into a race man as well. And I don't have any defense, so this could be just Colonel Force coming out. Yeah, that's it. Getting in a lot of damage in one turn. Almost all of my HP. And now you're ahead with 1k HP up.
Yeah, but I got stuck in the Gregor Vulcan against the Bug That
Ooh.
Thunder because it locks you in, so I couldn't stop it to move out of the way in time.
And I still have the custom 5, although I did get a hub badge in hand with the recovery. So I might be forced to go into that at this point. Just to try to survive into next turn. And now having Bug the Thunder already up in the field can be very big, because it can also be used to zone you out and allow me to avoid your attacks and limit your movement as well. Ooh, the Windrak, that was very close. Ooh, Beast Charge lands, but then 2 Bug the Thunder hits lands, so that was a pretty bad trade for you. Into the D-Cross. That was a lot of damage in one turn. Ooh, if that did land, that would have been game as well.
Oh, and missing the Judge Man.
Having Bug the Thunder already on the field forces you to move and makes it very difficult. Ooh, and one of them did hit. And I'm still down at 7 HP and got the second recovery now, which I'll be forced to take into next turn. Okay, so there's, and you go into like mashing the recovery just to try to survive. Both having defense, but you have the invis up as well, so that will protect you from ooh, but the race man just waiting it out to make sure it confirms the landing. And that was game. That was very close game.
Yeah, that erase man at the end just piercing all the defense was unfortunate.
But it was very good. It had very close moments and well played. Well played to both of us. Okay, so heading into the next game, it's Symes versus Shdaow. So this, we've seen Symes play and we've seen Shdaow play as well, but it will be interesting to see if the combo potential of your folder is able to overtake Shadow's HP. So far we've seen the recovery being very big for Shdaow, allowing him to win a lot of the games. But your folder also has a lot of damage potential with the Color Force and the Alcode chips.
Yeah, we'll see. The other big thing is since Shadow has a shield that can easily block the flash bomb, so that could make it a lot harder to get the machine sword combos set up.
Yeah, and for the bubbles and the Elect Dragon as well. So the shield can be very big for Shdaow, allowing him to stop a lot of your attacks. That is a very good point. But yeah, let's head right into the match. Okay, so starting with the cube fields, which we don't see that often, and Shdaow is Falzar, so he can decide to go into Dust, although that is worse for him because he still wants to keep the emotion bug, so it will be interesting to see what Shdaow decides to go for. Okay, so it looks like you went for charge, which is also an interesting choice. I guess you were worried that Shadow might have the static and decross race straight away.
Yeah, and it looks like he is giving up the humor bug to go for dust to take those cubes.
And then the slow gauge dropping, but you still have your life bar, which isn't really ideal because one of the cubes can remove it. Oh nice, so you waited for both of them to be used. Now you're not worried about your life bar being removed for free. Ooh, okay. So this is interesting. So now you're probably expecting Shadow to go into Tengu for the back B, so you want to go for the Judgment to paralyze and stray away into the Machine Sword to get the decross for free as well, which would be a lot of damage. That would be 500 total damage.
Yeah, we'll see what Shadow does. He does also have this. Oh, he is going into Tengu.
Ooh, barely able to avoid the movement, so now you're forced to just throw away. But you're still getting the Elect Dragon 2x with the bubble. Just still a
Yeah,
good
but now
chunk
he
of
has
damage.
his own life aura up.
And you're in slow gauge 7, but he still has the Buster Bug. So he needs to get quite lucky to be able to both be lined up and land the Buster hit. Which I don't think he didn't get a single hit that turn. Okay, going into Beast out with the Windrak into Colonel Force. We'll see if that does connect. One Invis could just wall the whole combo though. Or if the Windrak misses as well, that could be very bad for you. Oh, okay, so the Windrak does connect. Elemental Man, so that will probably try to go for the deep cross. Ooh, missing the timing, which is very rough. And then getting hit by the full area Colonel Force into the electric charge shot. Is that going to be game? Judge giving the para, but it's still not enough time. If you're able to get in 2 buster shots, we'll see if that does happen. Yeah, and that was game. Ooh, that was very close. If Shadow was able to live into the next turn, then he could have had his roll, he could have had his recoveries.
Yeah, the Colonel Force with the Elect Beast charge is actually very strong because that tacks on a bunch of additional damage and keeps them paralyzed for even longer.
Yeah, and you got in the +1 area with it as well, which is very unfortunate for Shadow. Starting with the bubble into Flash Bomb. And getting in the full combo, nice. Ooh, he did have the invis, but that was a bit too late. Your Flash Bomb would have pierced that, so he couldn't really use it. Okay, so you still have, I think this is your no, it's the first Dark Dragon this game. Ooh,
Oh, and he does
the
get the roll, but without the humor bug, so he has lead HP. Oh, he already lost that.
Yeah, so this game has been pretty close so far, just going up and down with the HP difference. Ooh.
That pole is gonna block the wood, so he just goes for the fire.
And now the panels are cracked with Magnum and Dalek Dragon. So if he wants to move, he's going to be forced to go into Tengu or Beast out. Ooh, which is interesting. So I would have expected you to go into Judgeman Machine Sword, but maybe the miss in the first game made it seem way less reliable, which is fair. It can be very hard to line up Judgeman. Yeah, he decides to go.
I think I'm also just keeping it in case he gets area or something.
Or if he decides to go into Beast out, which is what happens instead of trying to waste your combo on that. Now you're going for the beast out to try to pierce all of the defense that Shdaow has. And taking the machine sword, starting with that. So you're going to be able to chip charge it, which is actually a pretty nice touch from the developers, allowing that to happen. Then just chip charging. Ooh, the double point, we'll see what he has that with. And it was with roll. So that will be a good recovery, but unfortunately it didn't deal any damage. And there, ooh, the missed TFC as well, so losing the anti-damage. Although he probably wouldn't have had time to mash out and use it, it still gave you the signal that your opponent is down one more anti-damage, which can be very big.
Yeah, for sure, but being able to have the anti-damage up for that double point roll was big.
Okay, so Judgeman missing on the paralysis, but he does get back the area.
Oh, he gets the D-cross on my race beast with the static.
That's unfortunate, so you were in the perfect position for static to be basically confirmed. And now the bubble with the uninstall. So Shadow's going to be forced to cross cancel, otherwise if you have the Colonel Force then he won't have enough time to react to it. Okay, and you're going with Heat Beast, expecting him to go into Tomahawk, nice. Even chip charging your life aura. I think at that position maybe TFCing the life aura would have been the better play, because you, interestingly enough, your chip charge won't be reset when that happens. It will be chip charging
I really
the next one.
To get that ×2 heat beast charge. But he had his own life aura after, so I just managed to remove that.
Yeah, if you did manage to land the ×2 heat charge, that could have been game for you, because his HP is right within the range. Ooh. The invis, but that won't do anything. There's the flash bomb. At least he didn't get paralyzed and get the confirmed. Oh wow, that was close. Ooh, missing the magnum. And you weren't able to use the Judgment as well because you were stepping on the permahole.
Yeah, that permahole field I think is messing both of us up.
Yeah, permaholes can be rough for a lot of builds. In fact, a lot of folders aren't really well suited to deal with permaholes. Okay, so he does go for Dust Cross, which is interesting. Then the two recoveries. So Shdaow now is probably really looking for his buster ups, but the HP bug is really ticking very quickly. He's down at 1 HP now. Ooh, is that buster shot from you going to land, or was that while he's still invis? That could be very close. That could just be game there. And you'd thinking about, okay, so he didn't decide to beast over, and he does beast over.
Yeah, I think, because of the permaholes, he doesn't get the ground man.
That's unfortunate. But now what you can do is end of turn Colonel Force to confirm the hits. He won't have enough time to react by using any chip, even if he has defense. Ooh!
Yeah, I think that was what I was going for there, but unfortunately couldn't get it out in time before the custom bent. Now
using the roll, he gets barely able to avoid the Colonel Force from spawning on him. Gets some recovery with roll, but that was still not enough, and that was game. That ended the match as well. That could have been very close. I mean, if you both beasted over on that turn, then Shdaow still had the roll, which could have been game for Shdaow as well.
Yeah, because I would have given him some HP back, so he might have had a little bit more to survive.
Yeah, and roll is multi-hitting, so that wouldn't have kept you at 1 HP.
Yeah, it would have gone through the undershirt.
That was very well played. That was close game from both sides. GG's.
And
Okay,
so now we've got Sleep Claws against Onigiri, who's we haven't seen before.
yeah, so this is the first we've seen Sleep Close play a few times already, but this is the first time we see Onigiri, so could just take a moment to look at the folder.
Yeah, it seems to be a combination of a E code and a F code. They have the machine gun and magnums in F, and in E code they have bubble stars with a Luckman.
Mm. Yeah, and the Giga they're running is base as well, which is always an interesting choice with the double point, trying to go for the potential high damage, but that could also um, be worse than just going for the colonel force.
Yeah, but they do have it in F code along with their
Mm,
machine guns and magnums, so it makes sense to use it in code.
yeah. Um, Otherwise, I think the folder otherwise is just normal defense and oh yeah, so they have two panel grabs and one area grab, which isn't something you see that often. Usually with that you have objects, which they do have with VDOL and the Rock Cube.
Yeah, I
Um,
think they have the objects as a part of the Luckman combo.
mm, can you so Elecman isn't a chip that we see very often. Can you explain how the chip works?
So what it first does is it just does a regular attack on the enemies. But then after that, it will in its range, it will attack any certain objects like the VDOL or the rock cubes.
Mm,
And when it attacks the objects, it will also attack the adjacent panels. So it can actually be very strong because especially with the bubble star and VDOL, because the first hit on the opponent and the bubble will do times two, and then on the voodoo doll, it will attack that and hit them, and then you'll also get the curse from the voodoo doll, so it can do
yeah.
like 600, like 800 damage pretty
Mm.
easily.
Yeah, and one thing that I quite like about the V-Doll is that you can use it to force the opponent's movement, so they won't step under it or try to hit it with a Buster Shot, so they don't get hit by a lot of damage from it. But then by doing that, you can make their movement more predictable for you and allows you to get more advantage from that, which is interesting way to try to play with it.
Yeah, for sure. They So we'll see if he can get any Onigiri can get the voodoo doll combo off with a luck man.
All right, let's head right into the game.
So we'll see how a sleep claw is gonna deal with that.
Okay, so it looks like Sleep Close has a lot of chips he can take into this first turn. He has the flash bombs into Boomer and Machine Gun. See, he also has full full cost to try to go with into Dust, just try to go through turns. Okay, and that's what happens there. So straight into full cost, going to the next turn, try to Dust Dig and cycle a bit through the folder. We'll see where Sleep Close decides to. Okay, so he throws away a few of his chips. Ooh, nice. But he still gets in a lot more combo potential chips.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get that boomer to set up the blast man on the grass panel.
So the problem with the Boomer is that the Holy Panel is already in the center, and that is also outside the range of Boomer. So Onigiri will want to cap the Holy Panel anyway, which will protect him from the Boomer being from the boomer hitting, so that will be interesting to see. Okay, so trying to remove the first barrier.
Yeah, is he gonna go for a beast charge with the grab banish? Oh, and B took something from Onigiri. Oh, but now that Onigiri used the
Ooh.
Oh, and
Ooh,
gets
and the machine gun. End of turn, nice. Okay, so Onigiri was able to both keep his keep the holy panel and decross sleep close. But now sleep close can start with the Erase-Man into Boomer or into Blastman SP. I think Onigiri is in the perfect position for all of that to hit, so that could be a lot of damage. Oh no!
Oh no, he's in the middle. So if that boomer hits, that will now decross his left cross. So we'll see if Sleep Plus can get that.
Ooh, the bubble, but then the Invis will protect him from any other combos. And yeah, Sleep Close just went for the normal 250 without trying to get too much with it.
I'm kind of confused. Looking at Onigiri's setup, he doesn't seem to have float shoes, but it looks like he has float shoes here. He's not breaking those crack panels.
Oh, that is a good point. I'm not really sure what was happening that game. Maybe it was one of the... so sometimes the game can start up while reading your Navica strong, so it can avoid reading some pieces or read extras, so that could be a case of that happening. But if that's the case, then why is that game being used for the tournament? It's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll see. He's going for the going road now. It looks like he's gonna get the boomer to decross Onigiri with the ×2 charge. That's a lot of damage. And he could have just let that Erase-Man SP time out.
Oh wow, the curse hitting... I didn't think that was how it worked. Ooh, and that game finishing. Okay, going to game 2. I guess we'll see if the float is still here for Onigiri.
Yeah, he also already has the mag foil and the sensor, so we'll see if he goes for the sensor combo.
Yeah, although he doesn't really have any way of pushing Onigiri to gain multiple hits.
Yeah, he doesn't have the going road he wants yet.
Or Windrack maybe as a minimum to try to gain like 3 hits or a bit more. Okay, so probably Sleep Close will try to gain the counter with the machine gun. Or just use it to remove the anti-damage. Oh, nice.
Oh, we won't be able to remove that with the invisible.
But then again, Sleep Close still has the first barrier up, so he can just afford to stall out for time. Ooh. And now Onigiri has the confirmed... Oh, and another Invis. So Sleep Close doesn't really have much he can do, just wait out the turn. See if he decides to keep the machine gun again for the third beast turn. He does. See if he gets
he doesn't get the counter, but and since Onigiri's... Oh, yeah, he manages to avoid the boomer.
Okay. And Sleep Close still has the same, basically the same the hand he saw in turn 2. Okay, so it looks like we'll go for the full cast. Ooh, how is that going to work with the flash bomb? Is Onigiri going to be stopped by the flash bomb? I think that's the case. Oh wow!
And we just saw the flash
Ooh.
bomb object glitch right there.
Okay,
Uh,
interesting. Okay, so just let me. If you can explain what happened there, just
yeah, I
pausing the
don't really
video.
know exactly how it works either, but basically, when like a time stop chip is used, when you like step into an object like that, it just like I don't know, it just somehow kills you, it just like hits you like infinitely or something.
Yeah,
So I just had them replay that second round, which is what we're about to see here, because obviously that's can't really have that
yeah.
happen in the tournament.
Yeah, and so normally if you intend to go for a chip for the bug like that, that's against the rules. But there's almost no way that Sleep Clause actually intended for that to happen, because Onigiri stepped back, and Sleep Clause couldn't have had that into the game plan. So it was very interesting to see that. I think this is the first time I see the glitch actually happening.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how you could go for that on purpose. So yeah, that was a pretty cool thing to see happen.
All right, so let's just get right into the match.
Yeah, so that round didn't count, so they're just replaying it here, and it looks like the Sleep Plaza is going for a Tomahawk cross with the ×2 boomer into the Firehead. Especially with those cubes in the center, that will make it a lot harder for Onigiri to avoid the boomer and Firehead.
Mm. Okay, so it looks like in chat Mars is explaining how it works and saying that the object applies collision damage, which is 10 every frame during the time freeze, and doesn't remove the hitbox, so applies basically infinite damage for the time freeze duration.
And he gets the ×2 boomer charge on the Electros
Ooh,
into the Firehead, so that's already a lot of damage from Sleep Claws in this first turn.
and Onigiri did have the defense, but unfortunately he couldn't get it out in time.
And it looks like he threw the V-Doll. That was probably a Luckman that was just taken by beat. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, and it was 2x Elecman as well, so that could have been a lot of damage.
Oh, especially on both those objects. I
Yeah.
think that would have been like that would have probably been a 1600 damage.
Ooh.
Luckman actually has a very high potential.
Nice. I don't think I've seen Luckman get the combo off in an actual match, so it'll be interesting to see if Onigiri trying to go for that. Okay, so it looks like Onigiri going for the area grab as well. Oh nice, so you don't really see this arrangement for cubes happen all that often. So it looks like Sleep Clause going for Dust, try taking the cubes and get the D-cross. But now Onigiri might end up cross-cancelling. But it still is 400 damage that Sleep Clause can potentially get. Ooh, Onigiri didn't cross-cancel, and there's D-cross. Last one will move the anti-damage.
And that's it. Sleep Claws
There's
takes it.
game. Yeah, so this didn't count, and that was the end of game 2 for them. It was a very interesting match though, seeing the bug happen, which is very, very nice.
Yeah, I've seen it happen in friendlies before, but I don't think it's
Mm,
really happened in a tournament match
yeah.
before, so it was definitely very cool to see that happen.
Okay, and so the next match, so if the tournament style was round robin, and the first two players will face off each other at the end. And this will bring us into our next and final match, which is Thiago versus Pablo.
Yeah, we haven't. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see any of Pablo's matches in the round robin,
Mm.
but I think he actually won all of them.
Oh, nice.
So yeah. So looking at his folder, we have the fast gauge Gregor with a sanctuary, uninstall recoveries. So
Mm.
against Thiago with the machine guns and B code. So
Yeah, and Pablo has warp bug as well with bug fix, so that's you don't really see that very often with Gregor because warp bug makes hitting almost all of your charge shots very difficult, um, except for slash, I guess. So you don't really want warp bug for Gregor.
yeah, because all the other four crosses, you need to be in the same row as them. He does also have a panel bug, so
Mm.
with air shoes. So yeah,
Um,
the other thing with warp bug is if you can still use tail arrows pretty well, but it makes the lack and heat beast charges a lot harder to use.
yeah, I guess with slash beast it's not really affected because you could jump into it anyway.
Yeah, unless they're in the middle row, I think.
Okay, let's head right into the match. Okay, so they're starting on Ice Shield and Thiago going for the area grab to start with. Ooh, Pablo didn't cross.
Yeah, it looks like he also has a color bug level 2, so he would have had it invisible for a long time. But oh, Thiago misses
Ooh,
the erase man. But he does block the element man with the anti-damage. And
and now,
Pablo already got
yeah.
bug fixed, so he doesn't have to worry about that warp bug.
And although he doesn't have any buster ups, he still has the same buster bug that Shdaow had in his build. So it can still be with a bit of like a lot of damage.
Yeah, even with attack 5, it can still really add up after a while.
Yeah.
And Thiago's now going for slash cross.
Ooh, and Pablo's still not going for anything. That's very interesting. I very rarely see Gregor players not crossing at all.
Yeah, but Thiago now has the slow gauge with slash cross up, so this could be a lot of damage.
Ooh.
He's stuck.
Oh.
What?
This is the first time I see that.
Yeah, I've never seen that either. He was like stuck in between the two panels. That was crazy. Yeah, we'll definitely need to go back and take another look at that after.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder now how that would work with like chips that target. Which panel would they target? I guess technically he's on the forward panel, but it was still funny to see that happening. No, Pablo going for a slash of his own with fast gauge. Ooh.
And Thiago gets the counter hit into the rush, and we'll see if he can get the blast man out.
Ooh, and Sanctuary.
Oh, I don't think he meant to
TFC that, yeah.
But now he immediately removes the Sanctuary with a get him.
And he gets his other slow gauge, but Thiago is still losing the gauge war, because now if Pablo has his other fast gauge, then the game will be turned into fast gauge, which Pablo has the folder planned around. Ooh, the
these get-ons aren't really doing much since both players have shoes.
Guess it's interesting that neither of them decide to go for beast out to try to beast charge it.
Yeah, and you could also hold it to deal with the other player's kernel force. But now Pablo gets his fast gauge back up.
Actually, this
Thiago
didn't.
does.
Yeah. Yeah, go on.
Thiago still has a sizable HP advantage.
Well, yeah, and the Gideon actually did some work. It forced Thiago to. It stopped Thiago from being able to put in that fanfare. So he might go into next turn. I guess he's debating since he has the full area if he wants to go for Colonel Force. But it looks like he decides against that. Which was the correct decision in the end, because the Invis would evolve the Colonel Force completely. So on fast gauge, Invis lasts a turn and a half, I think, turn and a bit. So it can be very strong to try to use that to stall the game out, try to go for damage judge.
Yeah, and that rush isn't gonna paralyze Thiago because he has the invincibility from the fanfare.
Ooh, and full cast as well. So the main plan for Pablo is he wants to get in a lot of quick damage with his chips or Colonel Force, and then use fast gauge and full cast to try to win with damage judge, which I guess explains why he doesn't really mind the warp step.
Yeah, but he gets the uninstall machine gun on Thiago, so Thiago's now trapped on that panel.
But Thiago still has the back row object in fanfare, so that could provide him good defense, especially in fast gauge turns.
Yeah, especially with fast gauge, it's gonna take a long time for that fanfare to self-destruct.
Ooh.
I'm not sure if he meant to throw away life aura there.
Yeah. But then Pablo has his own Judgman, and let's see if he has the one drag. Does it look like it? And now Thiago's going to Beast out, try to go for the Colonel Force. It's interesting that he's starting with the area grab. I don't think that's the correct thing to start with, because that gives a chance for Pablo to TFC. I think the better play was to Colonel Force straight into Windrak, and then have the second Windrak as a backup. I guess we'll see. So Pablo already used the life aura, so the Windraks are mostly going to be for damage.
Oh, Pablo does get the last man to take care of that back row fanfare.
Ooh, and he does have, but now let's see. Okay, so the race man before Thiago managed to remove the anti-damage. Anti-damage into Colonel Force, and that will be game. Ooh, that was very close. Ooh, looks like Thiago has a lot of area grabs and the grab banish in his starting hand.
Yeah, it's interesting that he's still going for charge cross here on this first turn. And they're back on an ice field again, so but they at least have the cubes they could use to center themselves.
Yeah, so Pablo isn't really affected as much by the ice field because he already has the warp step. But for Thiago it can be hard for him to center himself. Okay, area grab trade, and Thiago took the recovery turn 1 as well.
Yeah, that's very interesting. It might have been more useful to him if he had held on to it for later in the game, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, so he's still not going for the area grabs, just keeping them in hand. And now Pablo goes for his own charge, try to get in the custom plus as well. Ooh, the Proto Man, and that was after the recovery as well. So I'm not sure if Pablo got full recovery from that.
Yeah, I think Thiago just got one or two of the charge tackles in before that recovery. That is big though, because I don't think Thiago's got hit at all yet. So right now he would also be winning if it goes down to damage judge.
But we still haven't seen, I think, any of the gauges being used so far. So the game is still far from going into damage judge.
Thiago now also already has this kernel force, but it looks like he's holding on to it and going for a slash cross instead.
Which is interesting. So he has the air grabs and the kernel force.
And I'm not sure why he picked Banish and then just immediately used it, but...
If that was kernel force for Thiago, that could have been basically game. But now Pablo is locked in into the
Oh, Thiago can't, because of the ice field, Thiago can't hit him on that panel, but he has to grab Banish anyways.
So the second area grab was actually worse for Thiago.
Yeah, and now he doesn't have any area if he wants to go for his kernel force.
Okay, it looks like he's going to go for the kernel force. We'll see if that does land. And it's interesting that he goes for the judgment straight after the kernel force instead of before. Okay, rush activating on the green invis, so it's not going to do anything. Then kernel force into invis, see if the judgment lands.
You're gonna be able to. Oh, he
Nice.
gets it.
Ooh, but the anti-damage, so that will still protect him a bit while the anti-damage animation is going on. Still a lot of damage from kernel force.
Yeah, it's like now he's going for a race beast charge with all these null defense chips he just got.
If Pablo gets the fast gauge, then it can be very rough for Thiago trying to get in his beast charges. Oh, nice, using the ice to avoid the beast charge. And yeah, that's the fast gauge coming out.
He might have been able to charge that in this, I'm not sure. I mean, he doesn't have any slow gauges, so he's not going to be able to do much with this last turn of a race beast in the fast gauge.
Yeah. And Pablo is still very low on HP, so could very easily end up in Thiago's favor. And Thiago has a lot of defense for this turn. Pablo has the Sanctuary avoiding the machine gun, but now Thiago has the Geddon to remove the Sanctuary straight away. And yeah, he wasn't able to discharge any of his chips.
Yeah, but now he suddenly has both of his slow gauges. He's down to just 2 crosses left, but we'll see. He should be able to hang on to a luck cross. I don't think Pablo has any wood chips other than maybe Element Man.
But then again, with the fast gauge, I guess because Pablo used the fast gauge first, it's going to be Thiago winning the gauge one. Ooh, but now the life aura dropping down into full cast. Interesting. I'm not sure why Pablo would go into Beast out straight into full cast, because that's just, I guess he wants, he's probably trying to wait for the Beast over, maybe trying to confirm having that.
I'm not sure either, but I guess we'll see if he... I think Thiago's slow gauge is up right now, so maybe Pablo can take advantage of that by going into a race beast, or maybe he has a kernel force. No, he's staying with the charge.
Ooh, and doesn't look like he has a wind drag, at least he's not using it if he does. Oh yeah, it does have the wind rack after the judgment into Colonel. That could be Colonel Force, yeah. Yeah, it's still a lot of damage from Pablo's part. And now I
And
think,
Thiago's
yeah,
now down to just his last 5 chips, but that blast man would be enough to put Pablo down to 1 HP.
yeah, or hitting 2 charge shots is also enough. Especially now that we're still in slow gauge, I believe. And Pablo, yeah.
Might have his recoveries, but he's already used up his sanctuary.
Yeah, and the Colonel Force is already used up as well, and that's the main, or one of the main ways that Pablo wants to gain damage. Triggering the anti-damage. Ooh, too early. That could be very bad, but I guess Thiago is trying to go for the slow gauge as well. Wait, is he taking... What? What? Why is he taking the... I'm not sure if he actually meant to throw away the slow gauge.
Yeah, but with Pablo having the slash cross with the area advantage, that's actually better for him to not be in slow gauge.
I mean, if he decides to trade the DPS with the slash cross, I think Thiago would still have been able to win that game in slow gauge, because he would have the more HP, so he has a higher buffer.
Yeah, but Pablo is now throwing out all his SP chips. Now he has a big advantage.
So yeah, that could have been the correct play from Thiago's part to just... looks like Pablo's trying to avoid being hit by the charge shots, but that also caused him to miss. Now Thiago got 1 HP and he has the beast over, but this is fast gauge and Pablo still has the full cast as well.
He already used it, but yeah, this is turn 14. There's still a 1 turn left.
Ooh. So now Pablo is going to go for his own beast over, and now Thiago has almost no way of avoiding it. Even if he does, I think he's going to lose to damage judge.
Yeah, I'm not sure who would win on damage judge. Oh, he just gets hit with like 1 second.
It was very close. I really didn't expect Thiago to be doing that. Nice.
Yeah, I'm really not sure who would have won the damage judge. I think it would have been very close because they both have recovs, but I think Thiago he used that first recuv on the first turn.
That's a very good point, yeah. Okay, Thiago avoiding the race start turn. Oh nice, avoiding the machine gun as well.
And then he gets his own machine gun.
He loses the anti-damage though.
Oh, he misses with the element man.
So he's debating it.
Going for the Proto Man.
I don't think he should go into slash because Pablo can still pretty easily regain the area. Just use 1 area grab and avoid the charge shots. Because warp step, if Pablo uses an area grab, warp step actually makes it better for Pablo to avoid the slash charge shots. Okay, but Thiago does end up going for that, and the area grab regains Pablo's area, so now Thiago has no way of confirming his charge shots.
But with Pablo having the warp bug, he can't land his charge shots on Thiago in the middle row either.
Now TFCing the invis will protect him, and Thiago feeling safe to trigger the rush before the end of time because he can just smash it away. Now Thiago with one area grab still, so he can't really make sure to get in with the slash turns. And the fast gauge drop from Pablo. Ooh. I mean, in that scenario, Thiago didn't really want the area grab to trigger the anti-damage, because now it gives Pablo the potential to step out of his charge shots, and he didn't get any other area grabs either.
Yeah, but at least now he has a slow gauge.
Yeah, the good and drop from Pablo. And they both are in slash now. Thiago, ooh, grab revenge. See if Pablo has his own area grab. Doesn't look like it. But he does get the wind rock off at the end of turn. And the fast gauge drop from Pablo again. But Thiago is still ahead on HP, although he did use the recovery, so... Anti-damage triggering on buster shots.
And Thiago does now have a get-on to immediately clear that sanctuary again.
Sanctuary really isn't doing much in this game with all the Gundam being played. Okay, so they both use recovery this turn. Now they both have all of their recoveries out. But now Thiago still has an invis in hand. Is he going to try to keep it or go with new chips? I think it's worth trying to keep the invis, because, especially because of how fast the turns are, so invis can be very big.
And
Ooh.
Pablo using the full cost, so we'll see if Thiago keeps it again.
Okay, so he decides to keep it again, which I think is the correct play.
And both players using invis here.
And with the Gundam still breaking the panels, neither of them can use Eraseman or Judgment to try to pierce that.
Looks like Thiago might just use a life or oh no, he's gonna wait for Pablo's invis to run out and use the machine gun and the blast man.
He's expecting the Gundam to run out for the fanfare, so he can put that before the end of turn. But still, he doesn't have a way to back row it, so he can't confirm keeping it. I guess one place he could put it is in his area, but now that Pablo crossed out again, that still won't protect that. Ooh, the area grab again.
Oh, and that fanfare is gonna block the Proto Man from destroying his life aura.
It's actually pretty big. And now Thiago's going for his own. Maybe not. So he's debating if he wants to take the Colonel Force or the B chips that he has in hand. If he can't get the D cross, then okay, so he doesn't take the wind rock. But now Pablo goes for his own beast out with the blast one. Okay, so we know Colonel Force isn't coming this turn at least. Ooh. Judgment interrupting the machine gun, but that allows Thiago to land in 250 from the blast man SP.
Yeah, and we'll see if Pablo has anything to force him out of his area. It looks like he doesn't. So Thiago's still just gonna stay there, but that get-on will block
Ooh.
Thiago from being able to use his Kernel Force now.
It also blocks Pablo as well. It will last more than 2 turns, so I guess Pablo will have to go for the Beast Over, or just go for the normal damage Colonel Force, which isn't ideal. But we're already on turn 11.
Oh, and Thiago already has a Wind Hack to remove that Life Aura.
Ooh. It's getting very close. Although because of the Geddon, Thiago still can't get in piercing the Invis. He's still going for the chips in hand. Keep in mind, if he does take them into next turn, he can't keep them in hand and beast out. Okay, so he decides to go for the beast out in advance for them. Okay, turn 12.
Oh, panels are starting. Oh, he uses it a little bit too early.
Maybe he should have tried to chip charge that when he saw the... Oh no, it was electrical.
And Pablo is using the Kernel Force as base Mega Man with very little area.
Very interesting. And now Thiago's going to finish it off. And that was the game.
Yeah, so Thiago is our the champion of the April Density Monthly.
Alright,
So
well,
congratulations to him.
congratulations to Thiago, and well played from both Thiago and Pablo and everyone in the tournament. And yeah, so thank you, Symes, for being with me in commentary and for hosting the tournament as well.
Yeah, and thank you for helping out with the stream.
And yeah, so that was the end of the stream. Hope everyone had fun, and see you. Okay. Oh yeah, so keep an eye out for before ending the stream. New Moon Salad should be bringing out the New Moon sign up sheets today or tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that and sign up for next week. It will be for base BN6, and more information will be out when the sign up sheet is out.
Yeah, and I have a pretty stupid folder planned for that, so...
Okay, looking forward to seeing that then. Alright, goodbye.
Yeah, take care, guys.